Hey, welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met yet, my name is Sarah. I am a Dubsado certified specialist and a website designer. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a custom questionnaire in Dubsado. Not only that, I'm going to show you how to customize with your branding, how to embed YouTube videos or Loom tutorials or a Loom welcome video for your clients. I'm also going to show you how to add buttons and link Google folders to those specific buttons. And I'm going to show you how to make the questionnaire pretty, of course. And one final thing is I'm going to show you how to create a fixed submit bar on your questionnaires. And if you have a really long questionnaire, the one thing that is really annoying for clients is the fact that the button by default will be at the very bottom of the questionnaire. So if they get halfway through and they want to save it, they have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to save it, to then go back to where they are in the questionnaire to carry on. So we're going to fix that submit button and the save draft so it will always be visible at the bottom of the page. I've already created a questionnaire and I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to build this questionnaire out. So let's dive in. This is the questionnaire that we are going to build out together. I'm just viewing it in the preview mode. You can see the fixed submit bar at the bottom. Then we've got a welcome section, and I've just embedded a Loom video, so I'll show you how to embed the videos, YouTube, or any videos that you want to embed into your questionnaire. I've just created a title and then I've just put some short fields in here. So I've also put the file uploader. I'll show you how to customize this. I'm going to show you what this looks like before we actually dive into any customization on branding and any of the CSS snippets as well. And then it has a couple more fields, and you'll also get this CSS snippet over on my blog as well, which I will go through, and then just a footer section so they will easily be able to save the draft, submit I'll show you how to change this from send to submit. Just make your questionnaires more on brand and more engaging for the clients. So let's dive in to just build this out on a basic outline without adding any CSS snippets, and then I'll go through adding everything and showing you how to do it. It's in my demo account. So what you can do is you can go over to the template library, and this actually has a selection of different proposals and questionnaires that you can grab for free if you want to. So you could always grab one of these and start from a questionnaire template, or you can just build out your own. So I'm going to build ours out completely from scratch. So I'm going to go to this little plus icon, and this is going to allow you to create a new questionnaire. So this is what it's going to look like when you have created your new questionnaire. So the first thing to do is obviously title your questionnaire, whatever you want it to be called. So I'm just going to call this onboarding questionnaire. Then the first thing we're going to do is just build out the basic outline of what we want to be in this questionnaire. So I am going to first of all add a container, because by default it kind of adds it at like 60%, which is really weird. So I actually want this to be span the full width across with the background image within the container. So that is why I'm adding a container, and I'm going to put the container width at 100%, sorry. And then I'm going to put the content width, so this is the width inside, at 80%, because I don't want the text to span across to the edges. I want it to have some padding there. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and add some padding. So I think that the one that I was using, I should probably get it up as a guide because I actually can't remember exactly what it looks like from scratch. So I'm just going to do that now so it's easier for me to flip back and forth. Okay, so this makes it a lot easier for me to see it. So if you don't know how to view your questionnaire in real time, what you need to do is you just need to go and create a dummy project, and then just add your questionnaire to the project so you can create test one, and then you can just easily view it. You will not be able to view it within the actual templates, so you have to view it within a project for you to view questionnaires. With proposals. You can actually view it by putting in public /public form view and then the ID number that the form is given for the proposal, but with the questionnaire that doesn't work. So add it to a project. So I'm just going to go back over to this, and so the first thing I want to do is I actually want to put in the padding here at the top. So I'm going to go back over to my form, and I'm going to put around 300 pixels top padding, and then bottom padding I'm going to put 50 pixels. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my background image. I'm just going to grab this one here, and then I want to put a bit of opacity on this and also add the background color to be a dark color. So when we add the text that is white, we're going to be able to see it. So you can also add videos. So I'll link the YouTube video below, but you can add a GIF as a background. So have it as like kind of a video background, which you can create in Canva. I will link that in the description below as well. Specifically for this tutorial, I am not going to be uploading any custom fonts. I'm just going to be using Dubsado's native fonts that they have, which I think the ones that I'm using this is going to be Playfair Display and Montserrat. But if you want to upload any custom fonts, you can do that, and I will link the tutorial below. You don't have to host them on your website. I have separate tutorials for Google Fonts and also for custom fonts as well. So I'm going to make this a 1-column container, and then I'm going to add a container into here. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I want to have padding on this second container. So I'm adding my container. I'm going to put this at 100% content width and container width, and I am going to put some right padding on here because I don't want the text to span across the whole screen. So I'm going to put padding at 400 pixels, and then what I'm going to do is add in a text block. And I've already added my CSS for my fonts. I will add that tutorial below with the snippets for customizing the fonts within Dubsado. So as I've already added this, I'm just going to add in my text. So I'm just going to grab this text here and I'm going to paste it in. So you'll notice that once you paste it in, your text will probably be dark. So you can also set your font colors within the font styling. But I'm going to go over here and I'm going to colors, and I'm going to set the text color to white. And then I'm going to add another text box underneath, and this is going to be the text that I've got prepared for, and I'm using the custom smart field, the smart field client name. So let me just put this here, client full name. And again, I am going to set these to white. So if you want to see what it actually looks like in real time, you can go to preview and then you'll be able to see exactly what it looks like. So next part, I'm going to add another container below. So if you click on the underneath, then you can just click container and it will put it in here, but you can also drag and drop it in. So I'm just going to click it and you'll see it will put it underneath. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build this section out so you can see how I've done it. So I'm going to put this at 100%. And then I'm going to put this as 80%. I've got padding at 100 pixels top and bottom. And then I am going to container 1 column because I'm going to add a text box here. And then I'm going to add another container underneath where I'm going to put this at 100 width and container width and content width. And then I am going to add a text box, and then I'm going to add a image here. So let's just style this out a bit. So we've obviously got the title, then the text block, and then an image. So I'm going to grab the text here that says, "Welcome, Sarah." This is actually going to be a smart field, so it's going to say the client's first name. Then you'll notice that this is quite close together, so you can add an element and add a spacer underneath here to give it a bit of space. Another thing that you can do is click on the container underneath and you can add some top margin. So if you added margin 25 pixels, then you'll see it will add some space as well. Then I'm just going to copy over the text that I have because I'm not typing it out. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an image here. So I'm just going to grab this one. And you'll notice that I've got some spacing with the one that I've done. I've got some spacing here and it's lower down. And it as right aligned, and then I've done the scale as 65%, and then I've put some padding on top. So I'll probably put 80 pixels. You can put more, you can put 100 pixels, whatever you want. And that just makes it right align. So you can then go into preview and see what this looks like. You'll notice that it's also got some weird spacing at the top, which is some weird default that Dubsado does. So we can remove this by going over to the design tab, going under general styling and just putting 0 padding because it defaults to 60 pixels at top. And then the next section we're going to do is the banner section. So you can also add, you can add a background color to this. So I'm just going to grab that color because I have no idea what the hex color is here. So you can add the background color here. Then we're going to build out the banner. So if you add another container, again, put this at 100% container width, and I'm going to do 80% there. And then I'm going to put this as one column. I want to add some padding top and bottom. So I'm going to scroll down to padding. I'm going to put 80 pixels to make this a bigger container. And then I am going to choose my image that I want to use. So I'm going to use this one, and then I'm going to add a text box and add the title here. So about your wedding. Then I want to center align it, and I'm going to make it white so you can see it. If you want to add some opacity so you can see, so if your picture isn't black and white and it's quite light, then you might not be able to see the text. So you can go over to add a background color, and then you can scroll down to background opacity and you can turn this down. Also remember to always save your form, because if you don't save it and it crashes, you will lose everything. So it's happened to me a million times and it's really annoying. So please always save changes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to embed a YouTube or a Loom video. So if you go over and add another element, so if you just want to add one container, then you can again put this as 100% width, make it one container, and then what you can do is go over and add a HTML block. And then if you find your Loom tutorial or your YouTube video, I'm just going to grab one now. So if you click on your YouTube video, then you can click share, and then what you can do is click embed, and this will give you the iframe code. So you can copy this and then go back over to your form and just simply paste it in. The same goes for a Loom tutorial. So you can paste in your video. If you find that it's too close together and it's touching, remember you can go to the container and then you can add in some margin. So if I put 50%, it will give it some space above there. So you can embed any iframe with the HTML code block. So we're going to add another container, and this is where we're going to put in our question. So I'm going to again put this as 100% container width and 80% content, and then make this one column. So I also want to make sure that I've got some space here, because white space is your best friend. Having everything crammed together, you will notice now it will make such a huge difference when you have space. So I'm going to put 80 padding top and bottom. And this is where we're now going to start building out some of the form fields and everything. And I'll show you what it looks like before you add in any CSS in. So I'm going to add a short field. Then I'm going to add another one, a free response maybe. We're going to add maybe a checkbox. and we're going to add some multiple choice and a form file, and then finally we are going to add a button. If you put a text block in and then you go to the insert link or button, you can click on button. You can then put in your URL, your button text, open in a new tab and insert, and that will add a button. So let's preview that and see what it looks like. So as you can see, it's pretty crammed together. It's quite difficult to see. It's not looking that great. As you can see, my example, it looks much easier for the client to be able to view the questions. So let's just go back over, and now we can start styling this out. If you head over to my blog, which is linked below, it's going to give you some CSS snippets, and I'm just going to go through them now to explain exactly what they do. So you can click copy to clipboard here, then you can go over to the form styling and scroll down to custom CSS, and this is where you can scroll down to the bottom and you can add in this code. So the first thing that this code is going to do is it's going to add some space between all of the questions, because by default they're really crammed together and it makes it harder to actually see each of the individual questions. So we just want to add that bit of padding. Then the next thing we're going to do is changing the font family and the sizing of all the form titles. So these are the form titles here. So this code is going to change them. So if we just go over, again, copy to clipboard, and you'll be able to change the CSS. So just paste it in, and then you'll see that it has changed the font to Montserrat. So you can change your font family here. Made the font black. So if you want to change the hex code of the text, you can change that here, and it's put the font size as 15 pixels. So you can see it's changed on every single one of them. The next snippet is changing the font size and color of the placeholder text. So this is the text that's inside of the boxes. So here is your placeholder text. So you'll see this is what it looks like by default. When we go to form styling, edit CSS and paste in this snippet, it is going to change the font family again to Montserrat. So you can change this font family here. It's made the background color of these white. So if I go to add in an actual color here, because I don't have a background color, you'll see that the background color is now white. So put a 1 pixel solid thin border of black. So if you want to change the hex code, you can do that there. And it's made the border radius 0. So if you wanted this to be round, you can change this, and you can put it as round if you want to. Obviously that looks a bit funny, so I wouldn't do that, but you have the option of doing that. Next thing that we want to do is style the checkboxes for these. So you'll see that there's still not got any border to them. It looks completely different from the rest of the form. So we want to go over and grab this snippet. So this text box label and font sizes of the text box, you can copy to clipboard, and then we can paste this in. And you can see that it's now changed the text. So you need to put in your font family here. You can also change the font size. If you wanted it to be bigger or smaller, you can change that, and you can add in your color as well of the text. The next thing is the checkbox styling of the border. So you can copy this over and you can paste in this code. So you'll see it's put a 1 pixel black solid border. So if you wanted to change this, you can change the hex code here, and then you've got your background color. So you can change the background color as well of these. So if you wanted it, for instance, to be black, then you can put in black. So if you wanted it to be a certain color, you could put that there. There are other stylings here, so making the checkbox background color when the box is marked, so you can add those in, and you can add any CSS. The same with the multiple choice styling as well. So this is very similar to the checkbox, so you can just add in that CSS, and you can do the same with the date form styling. The next thing that I wanted to show you is the file uploader. So you can copy this to the clipboard and paste this in, and you'll see that you need to add in your font into the font family. Then you can change the color of the text. I'm actually going to make this white. You can change the background, so put your hex code here. I'm going to put that to black. You can make that a border radius. You can change the border styling. You can change the size. So I'm actually going to make that 12 pixels and put this as uppercase text with a 1 pixel. And you can also put in your font weight. So if you wanted it to be bold, you could put font weight bold. You can also put in an actual number of the font weight. So 600 is bold, 800 is very bold. So you can play around with that. And I've also got padding. So if you remove the padding, you'll see that it will make the button very, very small. So that is how to style it. And then we also have it on hover. So you can change what the button looks like on hover. And then the final thing is adding the buttons into your Dubsado questionnaires. So I've just gone over here how to add a button earlier, but I will show you again. So you can add a text box, then click on edit in line, delete the text, and then if you go over to the formatting options, click on insert link or button, then you can put in your URL here. And you can also put your text. So if we do upload here, open in a new tab. So you don't want them to open in the same tab. Otherwise, they're going to have to go back. It could also stop them from making any save changes, which would be a nightmare. So always open in a new tab. And then you'll see it will kind of look like this. When you hover, it will have this text on. When you hover, it will have this line that comes up underneath. So I'm going to show you now with some CSS how to customize this button so it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. So if you grab this code here, then you can go back over to your edit CSS, scroll down to the bottom, then paste this in, and then what we're going to do is just customize some of this CSS. So you've got your background color. So I've put in a hex code already. You can change that, the border color. Then we've got the color set to white for the text. You can add a border radius on there if you want to. You've got the font set as Montserrat, so you can change that. We've got uppercase. So the only thing to note is I know that you can't see the changes here, and for some reason it doesn't change it within the actual back end, but when you preview it, it will actually style how the button is supposed to be. So the reason why it's still hovering with the underline is because you need to add the hover snippet. So the one underneath, if you then go to edit form and scroll down to the bottom and paste this in, now you'll find that that will change it so it is a light background. It doesn't have the text underline anymore, and when you click on it, it will open in a new tab, but we haven't linked it into anything, so it's just going to open a Dubsado tab. So here's a really quick hack that might come in handy. So if you want to save your form, then go into the settings, then go over to custom map fields. And what you can do is you can create a project mapped field. So create a new one. And then what we can do is we can name this for the Google folder. So say, for instance, you have specific buttons that are going to be connected to folders. What you can do is maybe put, I don't know, wedding photography or brand photography photos, whatever you want. Put it this as a short answer and save it. And again, you can create a new one, and we'll put this as brand photography. Put that as a short answer and again, save it. So when you then grab your, and I'm just going to use this as a, grab any link to show you how to do this, but go into a project and you go down to custom map fields, you'll see you've now got wedding photography, brand photography for this particular client. So you can paste in your URL for the Google folder and save it. So I'm just going to do 2 different URLs for this. Hit save once you've added your Google folders or Dropboxes. So go back over to your questionnaire. We're just going to duplicate this button so I can show you both of the different buttons linking to both of the different things. So we're going to go to edit inline, and underneath I want you to go to Smart Field, go to Project, scroll down and get the actual Smart Field for this. So this one is for the wedding photography map field. And then what we're going to do is edit link, and we're going to put in the URL and put this in here. Then we're going to do the same and for the other one. And in this one, we're going to put Smart Field, Project, and go down and find that custom map field that we just created. And then we're going to copy this, and we're just going to put this into the URL link. I'm going to show you now by save your form, save and close, and go into a test project, and then go over and add this questionnaire in there. So mine is called onboarding questionnaire. So we're going to add this questionnaire. I'm going to open it up. And then if you scroll down and you click on this button, it will now open the URL that you've put. So that mapped field is mapping to that button. So if you put now in your folder, you decide to change the URL here, it will then change within that client questionnaire because it's mapping to that smart field. So that is how to use custom map project fields for your buttons within your questionnaires. So the final thing that I'm going to show you is how to create that fixed submit bar. So you'll see now what I was saying about earlier is if you scroll down, you have to go all the way to the bottom, and then you'll see the save draft and send. Whereas on the form that I have done, you'll see that it is a fixed submit bar. So no matter where you are, they are always going to see the save draft and the send. So let's use that CSS snippet now to add in that fixed bar. So if you head over to my blog, you will see where the section says adding a fixed submit and save draft button to Dubsado. So what you can do is copy this and then just simply go over to form styling, go to edit CSS, scroll down to the bottom, and paste this in. So you'll notice that now when you preview it, it will have the submit and the send fixed, but it's got no background color. So it's just like a hovering button. So what you need to do is then scroll down and copy this code. And this is going to allow you to add a background color to your submit bar. So let's go down and paste this in. And here you can set your background color. So you can put a hex code here, whatever hex code you want it to be. I'm just going to type in black. And now when you preview it, you'll see there is now a black submit bar. So you can put your hex code in to change that. Then the final things that you can do is you can use these snippets to style your save draft button and also to style your submit button as well. So there is on here, there is save draft hover and your submit button. So now you can simply use the CSS snippets for your save draft button and also for your submit button. You won't be able to view the save draft and the submit on the backend builder. You'll have to preview it to be able to view as a client. So you can see now that I've added in the CSS for the save draft and it's changed that button. And then you can do the same with your submit button and customize this CSS. To use this section, then I also have this CSS snippet in my blog as well. So if you go to creating a next steps layout in Dubsado Questionnaires, you'll be able to grab this CSS snippet, and I'll just go through this now so we can then go and add a section for this. So let's add another container, and then we're going to make this container 100% width and 80% content width. I'm going to put this as one column. And again, I'm going to put some spacing on top and bottom. So add some padding. Then I want to put a text block here. So then I'm going to add a spacer. And then I want to add this code block. So I'm going to put an HTML block. and paste in this code into that block. So it's not going on the edit CSS section. This is actually going on the front end of the form. And then you'll see it will paste in, and you can customize this. So if you want to add, say for instance, background color and you want to make it dark like I have it, then you just need to paste in your text. So I'm just going to paste this from here. Then I'm going to make this white. Then we can customize this section. So here we have the O1, which is in the heading 5 tag. You have the text, complete the questionnaire within the heading 2, and then you've got your paragraph text here. So you can change any of that text, and that's the same. This is the second block. So you've got the O2. You can even remove this if you don't want it. So you can just delete it completely. That's completely up to you. And then you've got your heading 2 here, and again, the text for the paragraph. And then you've got your third container, your third block here. So a couple of other things is you will need to put the color of the heading 5. So you can put the color here. If you've got a dark background, obviously make it white. If you've got a light background, then you need to make it dark, contrast. You can change the alignment here. We've also got the paragraph text. So we want to change the color of the paragraph text. Again, we want to make it white. We have got the heading 2, so you can change this as well. So I'm going to make this white. Then you can also change the background color of the box. So these are in boxes. So if, for instance, you wanted to make this, you won't, but if you wanted to make this white, then you would remove transparent. You can put this as black, so you can see it will change to black, the color to black, so you can change the background color of the text. And then I have the border right at a 0.5, so a very thin solid white border, so you can change your hex code here for the solid color, and then I've got some code that just removes the border on the last container, because otherwise that would look a bit weird. So that is all of the CSS that you would need to customize within this code block. Once you're happy with it, just save it, and then we're going to add in the final section. So this is your footer, so we can add in another container, and this is very, very simple. Again, 100%, and I'm going to set this to 80%. And the final thing is I'm going to put maybe a lighter background color. Then I'm just going to change the background color. I'm going to put this as one column, and again I'm going to put 80 padding top and bottom. Then all I've got in the questionnaire one that I have is an image and just some text. So that's very easy to add in an image. You can also align the image. You can make this bigger or smaller. And then underneath I've got some text, so I'm just going to paste this over. And then I'm going to add a final container. Again, I'm going to make this 100% on both. And this is where it's completely optional. So I'm just going to put 5 pixels padding top and bottom, because this is just a small footer. Add in your text block. Add in your text block, and then you can add in your text block, and then we're going to just paste over this. You can center align it, you can change the background color, you can change the color of this. You can also put your company name in here. And then once you're happy with it, you can save your form. The wrap. Now you've got all the steps to create a fully customized questionnaire in Dubsado, complete with your branding, video embedding, all of the powerful features that will help you streamline your client intake process. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from it. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more Dubsado tips and WordPress design tutorials. Have any questions or need any help with designing your own Dubsado setup? Drop a comment below or reach out to me. I'm always here to help. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy designing.